New Thought Media Network proudly presents Lindsay Leimbach, Practicing Infinite Possibilities, Fridays at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. And now, here's Lindsay.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. Welcome to New Thought Media Network. If you're seeing me on YouTube, welcome to YouTube. Anyway, we're at PIP, Practicing Infinite Possibilities. How's it going? Are you guys seeing all the amazing things we can create in this world? That's what this is about. That's why I do this. Because I want us to realize that infinite power is inside of us, not some of the time, all the time, all the time. And so we're in a new series, which is the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, is our foundation from Deepak Chopra. And today we're going to be talking about the law of pure potentiality and the law of giving. Before that, let me ask you guys this question. Let's see. Let me go down here. Who said this quote? Look at this quote. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Isn't that the truth? Right? Think about all the books we read, all the questions we ask. It's really not that complicated. It is this mind that we have that makes it so complicated. That subconscious mind, that filter system, those judging, the expectations, the wishing, the what ifs, the should haves. I mean, all that dynamic, that totally makes it complicated. Now, who said that? Let me read it one more time. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Confucius. Yep, that's who said it. Confucius. That long time ago. I'm not really good with my timelines, but I think that was probably close to 5,000 years ago. Because I think Confucius might have been before Buddha. It's around that time. Anyway, from the beginning of time, when we sat down and we started to think, what is really going on? We realized that the human nature, the human experience makes it complicated. Why is that true? Because we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are spiritual beings. You can say spiritual, we're energy beings, whatever it is. We are part of a magnificent system out there. And that is what Deepak Chopra is saying in this. He just gives 7 simple laws to go by to bring forth that well-being and that happiness that we have. Let's see who we have here. Welcome, Wendell Leimbach. We're so happy. And Michelle, thank you. Oh, from Los Angeles, my home girl. Woo, my home girl right down the street. One day we're going to have to get together and have some coffee. So good morning, everybody that is here. I'm happy to have you. Last week, I talked about let's look for hearts. Do you remember me talking about that? Let's look for hearts. So some of us sent in hearts, and I want to show them to you. Look at this. Look for hearts in the world. Infinite possibilities. There's hearts everywhere. Just on a sidewalk, 2 little leaves fell, and my friend looked down and she saw a heart. Where is that heart? Think about that. That heart is in your mind. It's in your filter system. When you're programming yourself to look for hearts in the world, you're saying to the world, I want to look for the good. I want to have that filter system looking for the good. Now, here's another one, very similar. Check this one out. Dinner. The end of a Greek salad ends in a heart. Ends in a heart. They're everywhere. Good is everywhere if you're looking for it. It's that simple. It always exists in the mind. We have the small self, which is really like the ego self. And who am I? I'm Lindsay Leimbach. I'm a mindfulness coach. I'm a mother. I'm an ex-wife, right? I'm a wife. I'm many things. I've been a teacher or principal. We all have all these many labels. That's a small self. The big self with the big S, that's the good, the love, the compassion. That's the energy that we all flow together, that big self. And we need to call forth that big S, that big self of knowing that we have all that infinite possibility in us. That's why I named the show PIP, Practicing Infinite Possibility. That's calling for the big S. But we have to learn how to use our brain. We have to use, which is our tool, which is our filter system as the human experience, and program it not into the fight, flight, freeze response that our amygdala is already born into us, into seeing the higher level, connecting the mind and the heart. The Buddha did it, Confucius did it, Jesus did it, my grandmother did it. You can do it. I can do it. But we have to make the effort. So that's why I'm saying to my PIP people, and you guys are my PIP village, let's look for hearts. Let's program. Let's say that instead of saying, I'm going to look for problems in this world, I'm going to see the beauty. And you're calling that forth. So I want to show you one more. This was one that I took. This is at the Santa Barbara Mission. So this is, very, very old, and it's a wall. And you can see, let me go on the right side. There's the heart, right? There's the heart sitting there in the wall. They're everywhere. There's ordinary miracles everywhere. So why is this true? Why is this true? Oh, wait, I had one last one I want to share. I always, maybe you see this in the background. This is my pig, okay? And I didn't even realize it had hearts on it. I had these hearts in my house. Now, the reason why I have this pig is it says Route 66 on it. And I actually won a trip to California, Infinite Possibilities, in 1991. And I came out in January, drove Route 66, and then ended up in California and fell in love with it and moved here. Now, my parents weren't too thrilled about that at the time, but they're happy I did. So infinite possibilities. And if I did not come to California, I wouldn't be here with you. So you see, there's hearts and there's infinite possibilities in our journey all the time. Not some of the time, guys, all the time. It is your filter system, your human experience that's either allowing it in or actually shutting it down. It's you. It's nobody else. It's either that you're making the conscious choice to live into the higher S, or you're labeling yourself that lower S and defining yourself with limited. And if you do that, then you create your world that way. So last week we talked about it in this format. Listen, the universe is all the colors. God is all the colors in the world. They're all there. But we are the paintbrushes. We are the painters. And we use all the infinite colors, all these beautiful colors, but we paint our own reality. I really want you to have that sink in. We paint our own reality. So if you think that the world is negative, if you want to live with that caveman experience, by the human experience, meaning the amygdala, who's always looking for danger, then you're going to paint with a paintbrush of danger all the time, and you're going to see it everywhere. So you all want to look up, and I've had this in past episodes, your RAS, your reticular activating system. It is the filter system in your body, in your mind, in your brain, that says what's important. and you program your RAS, your reticular activating system, to look for what's important to you. And if you think what's important to you is fearful thoughts, or I'm not good enough, or I'm limited, or I am dumb, or I am stupid, or I am unlovable, then let me tell you, your filter system will find all those things in the world because you are painting your reality. Nobody else is painting it. You're painting it. Okay, but the magnificent thing that the universe gives you is choice and the power to learn and the power to grow and to connect the heart and mind and get into the higher S, the bigger self that's connected with everything. That's love and compassion, all these things. And when you go there, then what you paint is such a magnificent picture. A magnificent picture. But what does this take? Effort. I'm sorry, it does. You know, it really does say, I'm going to wake up and connect in with God. I'm going to connect in with my higher consciousness. I'm going to connect in with nature. And that is what the 7 spiritual laws of success are, is how do you connect in to this so you become a magnificent painter, a magnificent painter. All right, let me see when we go down here. One way we connect into it is the understanding the law of pure potentiality. And in the law of pure potentiality, I have this picture of this tree growing out of another tree. We have to understand that there's this universal energy flow, and it is always growing, and it's always open, and there's always the possibilities. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Looking for the looking for the ordinary miracles in your life, because they're everywhere. And if you're looking for them, you will see them. They will manifest everywhere. So the first law that Deepak Chopra talks about is the law of pure potentiality. And that's connecting in with this higher level of S, the big S, the S that in which everything has infinite possibilities, where you actually have the capability with skill, create your life filled with love, with relationships, with health, with abundance in all different ways. We're not just talking about money and financial abundance. We're talking about well-being and resilience. No matter what's going out in the world outside, you get to have this higher level of consciousness in which you filter it so you can see the higher picture of what's going on. So last week we talked about the 3 ways that you tap into that, right? Do you remember that? One is silence. We know that. Everyone's prayer, meditation. I also want to throw in sleep, guys. The silence of sleep. You study after study shows that if you get a good night's sleep, your brain actually gets to reprogram, right? To rest, so it can heal itself, so it can allow itself to be in a good place, so it can handle the information that's going to come in the next day, right? It's when you're healing yourself is when you're sleeping. So you want to meditate, you want to sit in silence, and you also want to make sure that you're able to get a good night's sleep. Once again, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And this is my paintbrush. And I need to take care of my paintbrush. And being able to sleep is taking care of your paintbrush. It's like kind of washing out your paintbrush and air drying it out, and treating it well. So yesterday's yuck, or I don't want to say yuck, let's not go. Yesterday's colors of red and yellow and orange, and today you got to deal with blues, and you pick up your blues. If you still have yesterday's paint on it, right? Or yesterday's whatever, and you put the blues in with it, what do you got? You got brown, right? You got brown. So we want to make sure that we get a good night's sleep, or that we're able to at least have a sacred moment of silence. I'm working with a client and she is magnificent. She is brilliant. She's manifesting everywhere. But the one thing I need to help her do is slow it down. Slow it down, because the answers aren't in the words. The answers are between the words. The answers, that higher level of understanding, comes in those aha moments. How many people here actually get their best thoughts in the shower, driving the car, doing the dishes? At some point when you're slowing down your brain and you're not trying to pound out the answer, trying to do the what ifs and the shoulds and the regrets, when you can let all that go and you can sit there in this quiet moment. And the quiet moment can be a mindful moment of activity as long as you're centered on one thing. It allows the subconscious mind to percolate and to come up with great ideas. It allows you to tap into the universal. It's like, oh my God, it was right in front of me. But you have to slow down to hear the answers, right? So silence is so important, so important. All right, I got a all right for Michelle. I think that means she agrees with what I'm saying, but also I think that means I got a coffee date. I'm excited. So we also want to remember to connect with nature, because nature itself is universal energy expressing itself. And a tree doesn't have regrets and what ifs and shoulds and all that, but it has the life force. It has the life force. It has the power to express itself. It has the infinite potentiality. I always love my acorn. I always have my acorn. So what is this? It's an acorn. How does this become a tree? I don't really know. I know that when I plant it into a ground, into a fertile area, then it can express itself. When it has sunlight and water, it can express itself. You are the same way. When you plant yourself into fertile ground, think about this, guys. In fertile ground, your higher level of tapping into the universal energy will express itself. It has to. It wants to flow. But if I put this in concrete, it isn't going to go ahead. If I put it in, express itself. If I put it in my closet, even if I put it in dirt and water, but with no sunlight, it will not express itself. We're the same way. Where are you planting yourself? Who are the people you're hanging out with, right? What are you reading? What are you eating? What are you thinking? First thing in the morning, do you get up and you look on your phone, right? And you look on your phone and you start looking social media and you start looking at news and things like that. Are you really planting yourself in good soil for growth to the highest level? Are you going to express yourself? The answer is no, because remember, we have the RAS, the reticular activating system, which is our filter system. And we need to have our filter system totally ready to see the infinite possibilities, to connect with universal energy. But you are the person who actually waters your seed, because we have conscious choice. Gosh, that's so exciting. We have conscious choice. Then we also want to remember for pure potential, the third thing we need to do is, Deepak Chopra says, has a non-judgmental mind. Well, what we call that is mindfulness, practicing mindfulness. And that's why I call myself a mindfulness coach, because we don't want to have all that judging going on, thinking that we know. You know, we have to be able to witness our thoughts. We can have our thoughts, don't get it wrong, but we don't have to be attached to them. We can see them from the outside and say, are these thoughts, are these habits, is what am I about to do? Are these actions really for my higher good? Or can you shift? Say, you know what? I'm going to put down the phone. I'm going to churn the channel. I'm not going to yell at this person right now. I need to cry. I'm going to go in a room and cry and allow me to hold my sadness, but not realize that I am being sad, but I am not a total sad being. I'm just having a moment of sadness because I'm disappointed. That is mindfulness, and it is so powerful, so powerful. Now, today, we're going to get, let's see, I have it written here. Get to my banners. We're going to get into now practicing the law of giving, the law of giving. Now, I'm not just talking about to give. I am actually, come here, puppy. Here, my doggy wants to give you guys some love. Buster, he's such a ham. He always likes to get up here with me. So what I'm really talking about is the flow. The flow. Nothing is static. Nothing is static in this world. So the law of giving is really about, the law of flow. That as we give, we receive. As we receive, we process and choose, because I want you to know we have a conscious choice. If someone gives me anger, I can choose not to flow with that. But when someone gives me love, when someone gives me a smile, when someone gives me compassion and kindness, I too generate that and get and reciprocate it out. It is fabulous. It is the law of flow. It's the law of giving and receiving. It goes both ways. So I actually want to read you something from Deepak Chopra's book. And you guys remember that I might stumble a little when I read, but that is not a big deal with us here in PIP. So it says, the word affluence comes from the root word afflure, which means to flow. So affluence comes from the word to flow, or the flow of abundance. Money is really a symbol of life energy we exchange and the life energy we use as a result of a series of we provide to the universe. Another word for money is currency. Another word for money is currency, which also reflects the flowing nature of energy. The word currency comes from the Latin word cur, C-U-R-R-E-R-E, curry, which means to run or to flow. So we have to remember that money is flow. It's flow. It's an agreement. Think of the 4 agreements. It's an agreement that we have used as collective consciousness in the world as human beings. Animals don't have money. We do, because we've agreed that represents the flow of energy, right? Right? Therefore, if we stop the circulation of money, if our only intention is to hold on to money and to hoard it, since it is the life energy, we will stop its circulation back into our lives as well. In order to keep the energy coming to us, we have to keep the energy circulating. Like a river, money must keep flowing. Otherwise, it begins to stagnate, to clog, to suffocate, to strangle. Its very own life force. Circulation keeps it alive and vital. All right. There's lots of great courses on the law of circulation, the law of giving, the law of flowing. So I want to just tell you about a friend of mine. And she was really stuck in money. She really had a hard time with it. She didn't feel she had enough, right? And so I started to talk to her about this flow, and I said, this flow concept of giving and receiving. And I said, you got to think about it as flowing, and you have to have a different belief system and have a different relationship with it. Okay, so I want you to try to use money as a symbol of giving love. So this is what I had her do. Look what I have. It's a thing of pennies. A thing. I had her get some pennies, okay? And I told her, go ahead and every day take a penny, and I want you to place it somewhere, on a sidewalk, on a bench, on a curb, maybe a little bit on a road, on a doorstep, someplace, and you wish the penny well, and you say, whoever finds this penny, I hope that they receive a luck and abundance. It just started, we're talking about a penny. We're not talking about lots of money. We're talking about a penny, but it started her to have a different relation. Well, I'm reaching over here because you got to see this funny thing. A different relationship with money. Here's a big penny I found. Is that cool? When I was thinking about telling you this story, I found this at a thrift store. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get this for my show, PIP. So she put not a penny like this, a penny like this down with the blessing. Within 1 week, I have 2 stories to tell you about this, but within 1 week, she said, I was able to bounce everything and catch up on my credit cards. It's because what happened was her relationship changed with money. She realized that it's all just a symbol of energy, and 1 penny is a symbol of energy. And as she stepped into the flow of it, things changed. Now, the other thing she did is at the bottom of her checks, she wrote when she paid her bills, thank you, and put a smiley face, thank you, because she didn't feel like the bills were taking the money from her. She realized that she had received the services. She was being very thankful for the services. And so she wrote, thank you, and she blessed every bill. And within just a month, her relationship with money changed. And it started to flow in, and she was able to flow out. Now, of course, you can certainly give people more than 1 penny. That's not what I'm saying, is that we're trying to just give 1 penny. But what it is symbolizing to you that you have this ability to give and have a different relationship with money. And to be able, it is a flow of energy. We don't want to be squirrels. What do squirrels do? They hoard their nuts, right? They hoard them. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. And I have to get more nuts. I have to get more nuts, because they're feeling like they don't have enough. And if you want to go back to the law of pure potentiality, if you feel you do not have enough going on in this world, then you won't have enough. You won't have enough. All right. I lost track of my time. Oh, there we go. Got a little bit more time. I want to make sure. So I also want you to know, when it comes to the law of giving, it's not all about money. That's just a good example. But what I really want you to think about is whatever you're giving, you're going to receive. So even in emotionality, if you're giving out anger, let me tell you, you will trigger anger around other people. If you're giving out stinginess, then you will trigger stinginess around you. If you're giving out sadness, depression, jealousy, greed, any of those things, you will get that. People will pick it up. They will feel defensive, and they will reflect it back at you. You are the painter. Remember, we're painting our own picture. You're painting your reality. If you're putting out fear, people will feel your fear. Dogs and animals feel your fear, and then they become fearful. You are painting your own reality by what you put out. But if you put out love, if you put out compassion, if you put out kindness, if you put out a smile, right? A smile, you will receive that back. It is the law. It is the law. It is that law of the flow. So you want to decide, what do you want? What do you want in this world? I want more friends. I want connection. I want more love. I want trust. I want respect. Then you do it first. You take it just like a penny, and you put it out there, and you give it away. When I was hiring at Park Hill School, when I was the headmaster of the school, I would interview people, and I'd say, how do you feel about respect? How do you feel about respect? And my kids had a hard time. A lot of the kids at my school were not respectful. That was the last thing they were. They weren't treated with respect, and they didn't have respect. And if they said, I demand respect, then let me tell you, I knew right then and there they weren't working at my school. Not at our school. Because if I wanted my kids to be able to give respect, I knew that I had to show respect. As a teacher, as a principal, as a parent, as a human being, I am not going to walk into a kid who is angry and give them anger. I am not going to walk into a kid who is being disrespectful and give them disrespect, because then you are mirroring their flow and that will grow. The universe will grow whatever you put in it. Whatever, if I'm painting in black, it'll give me black. If I'm painting in red, it'll give me red. I am saying that I painted in respect. So when a kid was screaming and yelling at me, I would say, I'm really sorry, I can't hear you right now. And I want to respect you. And I care about what you say. So we're going to have to talk softer so I can hear you. I need to hear what you have to say. It's important. And then they got quiet. So that's what I want us to do. Lean in. That's what Martin Luther King, that's what Gandhi, that's what Jesus, that's what Buddha said. You get to choose. And I choose the higher way. The higher way. And ultimately, when you keep choosing the higher way, when you are the light, you will bring the light. When you choose the higher way, people will see it. Maybe not right away. And it might not even affect the person you're talking to. But if you're a parent and you're yelling at your spouse, that is affecting your children. If you're a parent and your kids are yelling at you and you yell back at them, you are teaching them to yell. You got to bring it down and learn how to go to the higher S. That's the law of giving. The law of giving. Well, anyway, we're going to dive into this more. We're going to go ahead and go into karma, cause and effect next week. I'm looking forward to seeing you. This goes so fast. I just want to thank everybody who has joined us. I want to thank New Thought Media Network. Everyone to remember that it is a nonprofit organization. So feel free to donate to it. It is very much works on donations. And also please see all the other wonderful people on New Thought Media Network. Fabulous shows, fabulous. Shout out to Reverend Melissa, who comes on at 7:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday, Pacific Coast time. And so she's 10:30 East Coast. Fabulous. I love her. I watch her quite often. If you want to get in touch with me, centeredmoment@gmail.com. Please send me some more heart pictures. Everyone, let's look for our own, our ordinary miracles. Know that we have the pure potential. Know that we will receive what we give. We are the paintbrush. God is the paint, but we are the paintbrush, and we paint our own reality. We have this wonderful choice. I want to thank everyone who showed up today. You know, it's just so wonderful. Oh, my Uncle Telfair's here. I just adore him. I got to tell you, Telfair, you were in one of my dreams, so we got to talk. I love you all. I will see you next week. And until then, practicing your infinite possibilities all the time, because we are all pure potential. Love to everyone. Bye-bye.